I'm not exactly sure what happened here. I've had filament plug up before. I've had this off. I put the Allen wrench in there to heat that up and then pull the filament out. You know, as you heat the tip up, I've done a lot of stuff. Whatever happened, that blob formed and it blew the silicone cover off. And I found my silicone cover all swelled up in this blob of blue PLA. So that's why I think it happened like that, because look how gigantic the silicone cover is compared to how big it used to be. So it just filled up like a balloon. So don't know if maybe it slid down and filled up. I don't know what happened, but first time I've seen this. I have over 1,000 hours on my printer. First time I've seen that. But it looks to me like maybe I was leaking out the top. So I just got a new one just in case it was the heater. I don't know if it's the temperature sensor. I don't know if the fan wasn't working, but I don't want to mess around. So I have a new one I'm putting on. It's worth noting that the face is held on by magnets. So you just take this off around to the side, like so. Get that out of the way. Okay, a couple things you gotta do here. You gotta take these 2 screws out of here. Before I do that, I'm gonna loosen this screw and remove the guillotine. That'll slide out to the side. And we got 3 wires to unplug. One's for the fan, one is for the ceramic heater, and the other one is for a temperature feedback sensor on the hot end. So when you loosen this screw, you'll push this in a little bit, and then when you let go, the guillotine will come out. Once I had the screw loose, I relax this and it can drop down. Now we're gonna go after the 2 center screws and we're gonna unplug our connections. Got my 2 center screws out, and you just trace these wires here up and unplug the small connections. There's 3 of them. So I got the 2 bigger ones done, and I'm gonna use my needle nose and go in here and just compress this, pull this one out. I got my wires out, this guy's loose. Now we're going to slide this down. All right, we're gonna get us a little bit of a wiggle. Mine's got a chunk of filament attached to it. So I'm gonna snip that off and I'll drop it out. So this was bad failure, and I haven't seen this before, but you can see here I've got filament coming out of the top of the hot end. So I think we have a joint failure in here. This has a lot of hours on it. I think it's a lot of hours. So just gonna swap in a new one. In my case, I do have filament hanging out of there. I just can't bolt this back together. So I'm gonna take these 2 screws out here. Just gonna loosen those up, push this down, see if I can pull that out. Make sure it's not stuck in the extruder. Might be. That was kind of tough to show with one hand. But once you loosen these 2 screws up, you can push this down. Push that down, pull this guy out. And that's all I had to do. Now that I've done that, I can push this back in there. Just push it, and you don't have to do anything with the bracket. Just tighten this back up. All it does is protect it from pushing down again. That's all it does. So it keeps the tubing intact. All right, now we don't have anything hanging out of our extruder. So we're gonna put this guy back in, and we're gonna just pay attention to our wiring. There's a small wire holder, if I can get that. Right there, that little clip. Right there. The wires go behind that. Keeps everything nice and snug. So you can slide that up and then just route your wires through. I always put this little guy in first that goes in this socket. Just make sure that's oriented correctly. And then the other 2, the wires will reach up and plug in. Okay, so I did run this one in the loom first, and then the small guy second, just because the wires fit better in orientation if I do it that way. Now I'm gonna put this plug in, across those wires, kind of holds everything together. Got our wires tucked away, kind of push those back. Now we're gonna put these 2 screws in, make sure we're lined up, don't assume it. We're gonna start the screws slowly as we line that up to make sure they start okay, so we don't cross thread anything. Okay, got these 2 guys in snug. Now you're gonna take that little guillotine, you're gonna flip it up, and it's gonna go inside there, like that, right? You're gonna hold it in and then tighten that screw up. Once you tighten the screw up, let it go. Can't go anywhere. This guy right here, it chops your filament off. As the hot end gets done with filament, it comes over here and it rams the wall. Bang! Hits that. That causes this to move in. It chops the filament off, then melts it out. So that's what that does. That little blade there is usually in your kit. I've already changed mine out, but when they start to get dull, it doesn't chop as well. So every now and then you want to replace that part. So that's all we got. Now we're gonna go back up in there, take our cover, magnetically just plop that guy back on there, make sure everything looks okay, and do a test print. One more item to note. When you turn off power, you can grab this and move it wherever you want. When you have power on, you're not going to budge that thing. So, yeah. So that's how I got it up close to me, so I can work on it. All right. So the benchy is printing. Looks good. Now I'm going to continue on with my projects. I'd say we're back in business. Actually, my printer time is now 52 days and 4 hours, 1,200 some hours. Jeez.